You promised yourself you were going to memorize Quran as soon as you got home, but the second you walk through the door, your motivation just disappears. You drop your bag, sit down for just 5 minutes, and suddenly an hour has passed. That's happened to me more times than I'd like to admit, but there's a way to fix it. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make yourself start memorizing Quran even when you really don't feel like it, how to keep going when you're mentally exhausted, and how to turn memorization into a habit, even on your worst, most unmotivated days. But maybe you're wondering, if I'm so tired, will it even be worth doing? And the answer is yes, it's still important. Don't tell yourself you can't do it just because it won't be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Even if you only read one ayah, it still counts. Even if you only show up for 5 minutes, that's better than nothing. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that you get a reward for every single letter that you read. Not ayah, not word, letter. That means even your smallest effort is seen bi'idhnillah. And the more you show up, even imperfectly, the easier it will become to keep going, inshallah. But sometimes the idea of even starting can feel so incredibly daunting and overwhelming. But that hesitation isn't you being lazy, it's just your fear of such an open ended task. Sometimes, when there's no clear stop, your mind convinces you that it's going to be long and tiring and exhausting. So, my first tip is, instead of deciding when to start, decide when to stop. Instead of I'll start at 6, say I'll stop at 6:30. When you know that there's a clear endpoint, I feel like it feels so much more easier to start because you already know when you're going to be finished. And most of the time, starting is really all you need. Of course, once you do start, sometimes the pressure to do a lot and to make a lot of progress can still hold you back from doing anything at all. Typically, we set our Quran goals when we're motivated, but then we expect to meet those same goals when we're tired, or busy, or stressed. And I feel like that's why so many of us quit or just aren't consistent. Not because we're not trying, but because our goals aren't realistically built for real life. So, my next tip is, if you want to make it easier to show up every day, create something called a bad day goal. Ask yourself, what's the bare minimum that I can do, even at my worst, even if I'm completely exhausted? If that means one page or one ayah, then that's your real goal. Because imagine if you can hit that on your worst day, then you'll easily surpass it on your best, inshallah. These small goals make consistency possible. Consistency isn't actually built on motivation or discipline or willpower, it's actually built on momentum. And the best way to keep momentum going is to make the bar so low that you can trip over it. Even so, there are days where you've made the bar low, but your body just won't cooperate. You're sluggish, sleepy, and can't seem to stay alert. Sometimes your body just needs a quick reset. In those moments when I really can't focus and I feel really tired, I'd usually just like to get up, make wudu, drink some cool or cold water. If I can't make wudu, then I'll just splash some cold water on my face or even just step outside for a second. And just something simple to sort of wake me up. But even still, sometimes I feel like I really just can't focus. I'll find myself reading the same ayah over and over and over again. I keep losing focus and I can't seem to get it together. When that happens, something that really helps me is to play the audio as I read along. This helps me maintain a certain pace and keeps me from getting too distracted. Still, there might still be days when your focus is fine, but somehow the ayahs just aren't sticking. You try again, and it just won't stay in your mind. I feel like this is where a lot of people might give up. But the issue here isn't motivation or willpower. Memorizing something new takes a lot of mental energy, and some days you really just don't have enough of it. So, on those days, don't force it. You can just switch to something easier like revision. Instead of memorizing something new, revise something that you've already memorized. To be honest, you really can never do too much revision. It's lighter, It's easier and it still counts. You're reinforcing what you've already worked so hard to memorize, and that's really just as valuable. But even if you revise, even if you recite, set goals, and show up each day, none of it sticks long term unless you know how to build a Quran routine that actually fits your life. So you can watch this video here to see exactly how to do that.